Welcome into the channel. This is Grant, aka the Big Time Boiler, using the first name. I'm getting a little tired of referring to myself as the Big Time Boiler. But anyway, I digress. It is a bye week. Going back to the video while I drive safely. Didn't have time to do a call-in show this week or do a, I guess, a normal professional style video, if you will, behind a webcam and microphone. Anyway, here we are. Purdue comes off a tough loss to the Wisconsin Badgers. To be honest with you, I don't even remember what the final score was. I think we lost by, 11? Is that right? Something like that. I did not have a great feeling about that game. I did not give a prediction even. It's one of those, until we actually beat Wisconsin, I kind of predicted as a loss. It ended up being a loss. I was a little concerned with our secondary, and those concerns were magnified after Corey Trice went down, I think 3 plays. I think he played 3 plays in the game, and he already got hurt. And then Jabari Brown got hurt, so we were literally down to a walk-on wide receiver that apparently switched to cornerback a while ago in Childress that was back there. So that was not a recipe for success. Aiden O'Connell did not have his best game. Obviously, the pick 6 was a killer. I mean, you go down 14 points to a team like Wisconsin, 14-0. It's our whole game plan was taken away. They, had 3 basically in the box, 8 back, and that was this Purdue offense. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's top end speed from the wide receivers or what, but we just, I don't know, teams, they're not really loading the box against us. They're letting us run. And, when you're down that many points, we may have stuck to the run maybe a little bit more. But anyway, I digress. That was a tough game. However, like we said on the last show, everything is still in front of us, even if we lose to Wisconsin. Purdue wins out right now, they're going to a bowl game. They're going to Indy. No matter what anybody else does in the West, if Purdue wins every game right now, there is nothing that can get in their way to go to Indy. So that's a good place to be in. Obviously, we got to get it done, starting with Iowa, not this weekend, but next weekend. Which, that's not a gimme game with Iowa's defense. Again, that's another team. If Iowa, kind of skipping ahead here, but, if Iowa, let's say, gets a kickoff return for a touchdown and then they get a pick 6, or, they get a turnover and when we're on the 20-yard line, our own 20, they get a turnover and they're able to get the ball in the end zone, it's 14-0. That's, again, Iowa's a team that you do not want to get down on. You want to get up, in fact, you want to get up 10-0 and you're a good spot. Even 7-0, you're in a good spot. You got to get up on those guys. But anyway, we'll talk about those guys next week. But I want to do, kind of a quicker thought video, just kind of where the season's at, where we stand, and kind of just a quick glance at these next 4 games. So, the bye week could not have come at a better time. Well, actually, I think it could have come. It could have come last week. I think last week it would have been better. But, again, the fact that the Wisconsin loss doesn't hurt you in the sense that everything's still in front of you, I guess maybe the bye week isn't the perfect time. Purdue, record-wise, is actually ahead of what we said on our season prediction. They're sort of ahead. They're actually, overall record, they're exactly where I thought they would be, at 5-3. I thought they'd finish, 9-3 on the year, and they'd be 5-3 at this time. However, I had us 5-3 overall with already 3 losses in the Big Ten. That's not the case. We have actually only lost twice in the Big Ten, so we're actually ahead of where I wanted us to be. I would take a out of conference loss any day of the week over conference loss. So we're in a good spot. Again, 3-2 with 4 remaining games. So a chance to be 7-2, again, which will get you to the West. Would 3 losses? No, is it 3 losses? Yeah, would 3 losses be enough to get to the Big Ten West Championship game? I don't know. It'd be iffy. I think right now, really, the players are what? Well, Illinois and Purdue are obviously in the driver's seat. Illinois's got a tough, sneaky game this weekend against Nebraska. Illinois, really, again, I'm not sold on that team. I think they're a good football team. I also think, though, they're a team that could lose a couple more games. I mean, they got at Michigan. That's going to be a loss, you would think. I mean, who knows Illinois, but they're a team that could literally lose every game they have left or win every game they have left. Kind of like Purdue. But anyway, Wisconsin's sneaky. They got their mojo back, but I still think there's some issues there where they at least lose another game, which would put them at 4 losses on the year, which for the Big Ten, which would, they be out. So really in Minnesota, them being down Tanner Morgan, which I haven't even seen what the status is on him. I think they're pretty much out. So I guess what I'm getting at is if Purdue beats Illinois, I think they're in the driver's seat. If they would lose to Iowa, for instance, I think they'd still possibly be okay. But if we would get beat by Illinois, that would put us at 3 losses. Illinois then would have to lose, basically against Nebraska. And if they lose against Wisconsin, Michigan, they would put them at 3 losses, but they beat us, so they put them ahead of us. So really, we need to beat Illinois. That's kind of the most pivotal game of all season. But again, you can get a lot of Big Ten West talk in. I think really for Purdue, the ultimate key game is that Illinois game. They have to beat Illinois. One would think. But let's just talk about overall season thoughts. Again, the bye week came at a perfect time. This team needs to be healthy, get healthy. Aiden didn't look. Well, he hasn't looked right against Wisconsin in 2 years, but not his best game. Wide receivers need to get healthy. Charlie Jones, who didn't practice at all last week, needs to get healthy. He's kind of got a sizzle back, pun intended. But we need other guys to get healthy. We need Brock Thompson back just because I think we need another weapon. Again, Brock Thompson, he's a good player. He's kind of an anomaly. He was supposed to be wide receiver number 1 coming into the game. That's all based off that Tennessee game where he blew up. He had a great game, outstanding game, one of the best games Purdue receivers ever had. But he was kind of quiet throughout the year. I mean, granted, though, we had David Bell and Milton Wright and Jackson Anthrop, so, the 4th guy is going to be a little quiet. But, or the 3rd guy, maybe you could say, when David Bell and Milton Wright weren't in the bowl game, then he took off. But having him back obviously would help. I feel like we need another weapon. I don't know if it's because Aiden is not. If guys aren't getting open, I mean, I'd love to hear your guys. If you watch this video and you're to this point, love to hear your comments on the video below. If you've been to a game specifically, are the receivers? Because I haven't been to a game yet. Are the receivers not getting separation? Because it feels like Aiden, and he does this, but if a guy's open. Like Charlie's been open, continue to throw it to him in like a David Bell. But sometimes I think Aiden definitely forces the issue to Charlie when it's not there. It seems like Marshawn Rice. I think we've said this ad nauseum. He's not being used enough. I mean, he's a big body, good receiver. He had a pretty decent game against Wisconsin. Need to get him the ball more. We just need to spread, I think, the ball around a little bit more. We need a guy that go deep too. I think that's really what this team is missing. We almost need like a. This team if we had Milton Wright, oh man, this offense would be exploding. But we don't. Even if we had like a Terry Wright, a guy that's a burner, just go run a streak and we'll throw it to you. We don't really have that on this team. I think the commentators have said that quite a bit. There's no burners. And it just seems like teams are just keeping everything in front of us, and it's a real dink and dunk offense, kind of like the New Orleans offenses of late with Drew Brees, where that deep ball kind of went away, and they didn't have Devery Henderson or somebody to throw it deep to. So that's who we've kind of become. And the good news is though, with the running game with Maccabee, who has been an absolute godsend for this team. If we didn't have Maccabee, there was an absolute. I think we talked about it last week. The difference between King DeRue, granted he's been hurt, but the running styles, the cutability, the ability to cut and see lanes of Devin Maccabee is so ahead of King. It's not even funny. King's a decent running back. pretty decent out of the backfield, but I mean, Devin is like just 2 steps up. I think the bye week was good for him too, because he was taking some hits, getting a lot of carries. Good to get him healthy. Again, offensive line, there's been some injuries, so it's good that not really. I think some of the top 6 who we're down to the top 6. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought there. The top 6 really, I think like Hartwick has been dinged up, so it's good to have him back, or good to get him healthy another week. Let all those guys rest up for another week. Keep them healthy. Get the wide receivers healthy. Get Aiden another week of healthy, because who knows, those ribs could still be bothering him. A week of rest might do him wonders. So that's the offense. Get Downey back. So I think going forward, a nice 1, 2, 3, and even 4, which I don't know. Kobe Lewis looked a little bit better too against Wisconsin, but we need to get those guys healthy and rotate them in. I think again, the order of running backs right now for me, if they were all healthy, would probably be honestly Maccabees without question your number 1 guy, starter, most carries. But then I would work Downing probably at number 2 and King at number 3. That's what I would do. I'd love to see more Devin out of the backfield as far as him going on routes and passes. I know Aiden, we could have had a touchdown where we missed the field goal. He missed Devin wide open out of the backfield. So that seems to be open all the time. Defense is where the concern is. That's my biggest issue, is the defense. Again, the front 7's okay. Defensive line, they didn't play their best game against Wisconsin. Health-wise, we need to get Jenkins healthy. Sounds like he might be okay for Iowa. We'll see. Defensive line needs to continue to improve and, kind of do what they've been doing. Stop the run, especially against these next coming games against Iowa and Illinois. Get some QB pressures. Linebackers, really need to see more out of them. It's good to have Graham back. Wahlberg hasn't been playing as much lately. They've been playing with Kieran and Simi. Those guys I think are a little banged up too, so it's good for them to get healthy, or healthier, I should say. Nobody's really going to be fully healthy, unfortunately. But Yanni got moved to linebacker. We'll see if he can make a difference. We'll see if he gets on the field. Here's the biggest concern is the secondary. Obviously, you got Jabari Brown. The only healthy guy right now, and he's kind of even been banged up, is Reese Taylor. Trice, I don't know I can't remember what it was that he went down with. Again, he went down on like the 4th play of the game. Sounds like Jabari then went down in like I think the 3rd quarter. Could have been even sooner than that. Sounds like they don't have extremely serious injuries. Is it enough to keep them out another week? Could be. But we got to have those guys back for these next 4 games. And it sounds like the Brandon Callaway, who was like the next man up cornerback's been hurt now for a number of weeks with an ankle injury. So I don't think he's going to be back anytime soon. So got to get those guys healthy. Sounds like Bryce Hampton is going to go get moved back to cornerback. Chris Jefferson, I don't know what's going on there. I mean, from what he tweeted and what's been told, he's something about mental health. So hopefully he's able to figure it out. But I don't know what. It sounds like, I guess he had a cryptic tweet that went out earlier this week that he deleted. Is he done with football now? I don't know, but man, we could sure use him back, as soon as possible, if he can come back, especially now with Cam Allen has been playing really bad. He's always been a decent ball hawk, but man, his open field tackling this year has been a disaster, to be quite frank. And it's not like he actually got benched. He actually might even get benched going forward. And sometimes, maybe a good benching is what he needs to, he could be a guy that could bounce back. But, maybe he gets benched for a half or something, and then he, the light comes on the last 4 games. So, but, it sounds like, Kane, you might need him a cornerback. The other guys are hurt. But, it would be great to have Jefferson back so we could, get him in the secondary and have him along with, Kane or whoever else back there. We really could use them. But secondary needs to heal up. So again, the bye week came at a perfect time. So what is my predictions? Again, I'll try to keep this short. We're at about 15 minutes. What are my predictions for the rest of the year? Man, My buddy Dowd over at Bullet Sports had a video, and I think he's getting a little negative, which I mean, watching this Purdue team, I mean, it's just every game. It's been pretty, it's been close for the most part. You'd love to see this team blow out some teams. You'd love to see them, handle business against Iowa. We'll see what happens. I'm really intrigued to see that Iowa Northwestern game. What happens there? If they get a new quarterback or what? But Purdue really needs to figure it out. Really need to handle Iowa. They need to blow out Northwestern, and they need to blow out IU, and they need to beat Illinois. I would love to say 4-0, but this is Purdue. It seems like when everything's set up for us nicely, it never goes our way. But I think this team, provided it can get healthy, can definitely win out. And you know what? I'm going to say we're going to win out. Actually, you know what? I'm also going to say I think Nebraska beats Illinois this weekend. That could be crazy, but I think they handle business and beat them. I think that puts Illinois in a bit of a tailspin. I'm not sure who they play the following weekend when we play Iowa. They go to Michigan. I don't think they go to Michigan. You know what? They play Northwestern. I can't remember. But I feel like they play Michigan State. That's right. That could be a tough game too. Michigan State could beat them. So Illinois might go in a tailspin. Who knows? But Purdue needs to worry about Purdue. Get healthy, rest up, get some play calling, get some players back. It'd be nice if Elijah Cannon come back too, and then Yassine, maybe he get a little more healthy. But we need some more dynamic ability on offense and special teams. Finneran's got to get right. Ants has been okay this year, been better than last year, so he's improving. But again, we're at 17 minutes. I think that was just wanted to give out my thoughts so far. It's just kind of a weird. Again, we're kind of exactly at the place I thought we'd be, except I had us losing to Wisconsin, I had us beating Penn State, I had us losing to Maryland and Minnesota. So we beat Minnesota and Maryland, and obviously Syracuse, who's turned out to be a pretty good team. We got beat by them, but it's just if these games have gone a little bit differently in the Nebraska game and some other games, I think I'd feel a little bit better. But again, I think this team was just. I think other people have said it too. This team was. I think they were tired legs. They were limping in that Wisconsin game, and they really just needed a break. So I think, and I think we play up. We always play a good game against Iowa. So for whatever reason, I think they're our most hated rival, and we really put together good games against them. So hopefully Northwestern shocks them, and Iowa's spirit's just completely broken at that point. So anyway, with that, I think I'm going to sign off. I appreciate it. If you guys have made it this far, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Like it. That helps the video get seen more. That's all you're going to get out of me this week. We will see you next week with hopefully a call-in show or a more formal podcast. So with that, we'll see you. Big Time Boiler signing off. God bless you. Have a good bye week. We'll see you.